Sergio.
You are now listening to the Narrative Podcast with Halsey Allen. The Narrative Podcast is changing the narrative one episode at a time.
Hello, everyone. Welcome. This is a live edition of the Narrative Podcast. I'm your host, Halsey Allen. That's pronounced Hall as in hallway, Z, Halsey Allen. So, welcome all my narrators. Welcome everyone that is new to the podcast, just now tuning in, don't know what the podcast is about. Welcome everyone. I'll brief you on what it is I do here in just a second. Just kind of getting set up here. How are you this wonderful Wednesday? I'm good. It's kind of earlier than I normally broadcast. I have been broadcasting lives later in the afternoon, but like I say time and time again, always tune in to wherever you get your podcast from, because you never know when I go live. I never know when I'll go live. So having said that, I'm going to just briefly get into what it is I do here. For all the new people, this is called the Narrative Podcast. It's called the Narrative Podcast for a reason, because on this platform, what I do is change the narrative. What narrative? Why does the narrative need to be changed? Well, the current negative narrative surrounding original people and original culture is depicted negatively in the mainstream media. So I want to create a platform where I celebrate our successes and highlight and showcase everything we bring to the table, and basically, play up our strengths instead of our weaknesses, and portray us in a positive light instead of feeding into the negative stereotypes and the negative stigmas surrounding original people and original culture. So if you're kind of still stumbling around when I say original people, this is something new I just started. I'm trying to stop using the pronoun black. So that's what I mean when I say original people. I'm replacing black with original. So basically, I tell our stories from our perspectives on our own terms and conditions. And then why am I replacing original or black with original? Because I believe in the power of words. So essentially, black is not a nationality. It is not a country. What it actually does is it signifies and symbolizes death, the end of things. So we are not the end of things. We are the beginners of things. We are the originators of things. So it's more befitting to say original, because we were the original human beings. We originally inhabited this planet. We originally inhabited the Americas. We was originally everywhere in the beginning. It was us. So yeah, I think original is going to stay. But so my tagline used to be the Narrative Podcast, changing narrative one episode at a time by destroying negative black stereotypes about negative black stereotypes. So now, instead of negative black stereotypes or negative stereotypes about black people and black culture, so now my tagline is destroying negative stereotypes about original people and original culture. So original has replaced black on my platform because we was the original everything. So I hope that sums it up for you. This is a live edition of the Narrative Podcast. And on my live editions, what I basically do is share positive frames of reference, articles I come across, where it's showcasing and highlighting us at our best. And I'm sharing the articles to, again, put out positive frames of reference about original people and original culture. And then I will also get into my format before I leave for the new people, how I do on a normal broadcast day. This is a live broadcast day. So I will be delivering articles, and then I'll also be unpacking. I usually unpack some type of commentary as it pertains to us, something going on in the original people community, or, if it's world issues, how does that concern original people? Where are we at in the dichotomy of it? So let me get into it. And then I also got some other stuff I want to share too. Some that kind of help out in these times that came across my radar. And I'll share that information with you. So, yeah. I'm going to dive right on into these articles today. All right, gee willikers, my notes was all discombobulated. Got them right though, all right. Okay, so the first article reads, the headline reads, 13-year-old girl becomes the youngest black person, youngest original person to get accepted into a medical school. And the young lady's name is Alina Analegh, I believe. It's Analeigh. So I believe that's Analegh. She graduated high school at 12 years old. She got accepted into the University of Birmingham. She completed the requirements at her school of Arizona State University, all in 1 year. And that's her story. It was just a brief article. I thought I would share that with you. Let's give a Narrative Podcast warm round of applause for the young lady, Mrs. Alina. All righty, keeping the ball rolling. Next article. Article reads, 2 women have created a ride-share company made exclusively for women by women called Her Ride. And her ride is spelled HER, all in caps, and then lowercase IDE. So that's where that's where to go look for it. It's just kind of how they've chosen to brand like her. They want to accentuate on her. The company is based out in Atlanta, and the founders is Jillian Anderson and Divine Starks. They partnered together in 2020 with the common goal of women empowerment and providing safety for female passengers. So it's basically like an Uber for women, because this is no doubt to combat the epidemic going around that's been going around about the sex trafficking, snatching original women out of Ubers, and then there's still that little matter. There's like still two or three van loads full of original women that still to this day has not been recovered. We still don't know the whereabouts. So having an app like that is definitely something good for women to keep them safe. And, they're awesome trailblazers for that, having that insight and foresight to think that many moves ahead. So they definitely has what it takes to be in the industry, coming up with ideas like that, because that's something all women could use. So give a warm narrative, or warm round of applause for Alina and Divine. That's an unusual name, and her name is spelled not Devine, but Devyne. But anyway, we're gonna clap it up for him. All right, next article reads, former Best Buy store manager creates history by launching Black-owned vegan beauty supplies and cosmetics. And this entrepreneur's name is Stephen McCallican. MC Calican. I can't read my own handwriting sometimes, but yeah, it's McCallican. I don't know. 1,000 apologies if I'm pronouncing the brother's name wrong, but the founder of Olzion, I might be mispronouncing that. I'll spell that OALZION. Personal care product. It's based out in Virginia. They advertise on Facebook, Twitter, Pinterest, TikTok. Toll-free telephone number is 1-866-32-51712. And then the more direct line is 1-571-3858-772. Site address is Olzion.com. olazion.com. So yeah, it's all natural, no animal product, vegan, or so the site says. I can't say from personal experience that I've ever, tried the products, but they look decent, worth a try on the site. So like I said, when I come across these articles, I just share them to provide positive frames of reference about original people and original culture. It took a while. I literally practiced like every day since last weekend for my full broadcast, trying to find something to replace the word black. And so, I think original does us justice. I think original just says it all. Because we are from many different parts of the world, but we were here first. Got some brothers and sisters from Africa, got some brothers and sisters that was originally already here in the Americas, got some brothers and sisters in Latin America, parts of Europe, Germany, we're all different. We can all trace our roots back to Africa, but, we're all different. And this is my second to last article. I got something else I'm going to I got a punch up because I forgot to write it down. So bear with me. I want to congratulate this brother for his accomplishment. I just didn't write it down in my notes before I got to broadcasting. But yeah, this is my second to the last thing I want to share. As far as articles go, anyway. Meet the entrepreneur who invested in the world's first ever gaming robot. And this brother is African, I believe. He is from Ghana, I believe. It might be South African, or yeah, I believe he's from Ghana. But his name is Silas Adukin. Adekunle, however you pronounce that. 28 years old, inventor and entrepreneur of Mecca. I think Monsters, yeah. Mecca Monsters. His company was called Reach Mechanics, and I think he moved kind of away from that. He invented his first robot at the age of 9, so he's been doing this for quite a while. He's also lived in the UK. That's where he got his education from. Moved from Africa to the UK, and got involved in STEM, which stands for, let me go back. Don't you just love this magic Google button? Okay, so STEM stands for Science, Technology, Engineering, and Mathematics. And then I think his company, he started his company in 2013. And for more of his stories, you can @ him on Instagram. So Silas at Silas DEKUNKE. So I'm not sure how you pronounce that again. That's an African name. I mean, we are African, but we're not that African. You know what I'm trying to say. And that's it for my articles I would like to share today about that. So now for my new listeners, I'm going to dive right into my format before I go on and unpack my commentary for today and talk about some other stuff I want to talk to you guys about. So on a normal broadcast day, what I usually do is I extend the olive branch to anybody that needs or would like some free promotion, urging them to hit me up. Original people that need promotion for original people owned business can hit me up at Passion Webmail at poeticpassion.host. In the subject bar, type promo because you want me to promote your business, product, and service. If you want to, like I'm not forcing you, like it's free, I'm not charging any money. So I got a bit of a following. I would say use every advantage. I don't want anything from you. I don't want your personal information. I don't want nothing from you. In the body of the email, supply me a little bit about yourself, a brief bio about yourself, business, product, and service, so I can give you a proper plug. So the more in-depth you go, the more, the better I can, advertise you. Because, when people are more familiar about a person that's supplying them goods and services, they'll be more apt to purchase from them. So if I know more about you, I'm probably going to, spend some money about you if you're reputable. If you're a recognized name, I know you from somewhere, I'm probably going to spend some bread with you. Now, second order of business after that, at that exact same email address, I'm currently conducting a contest exclusively for this podcast, the Narrative Podcast, hosted by me, Halsey Allen. And I'm basically awarding prizes for listener participation and to reward, the people that have been listening to me. I want to send you guys something. Just enter the contest and participate in the topic. And the topic is, now I'm trying to alleviate it out of my vocabulary, but I had already launched the contest long before that. And I don't really, original people, it doesn't really roll off the tongue like that. So I'm going to just say it. The name of the contest is Shopping While Black. And to enter this contest, I want all participants to share their most recent Shopping While Black experience. And for doing this, I will reward you a bulk supply of your favorite snack. So whatever you have, hankering for, whatever you like snacking on, I'll send you a bulk supply of it just for entering the contest. To enter the contest, hit me up at Passion Webmail at poeticpassion.host. And in the subject bar, type chew on this / or dash, which is ever easier for you, Shopping While Black. If you don't want to type that whole word, Shopping While Black, you can just type SWB. And I know what that would mean. And in the body of the email, put your most recent Shopping While Black experience. Try not to make it no more than 5 paragraphs. I don't want to read a novel. I just wanted just a brief synopsis of what happened, just summarize it. And then also your mailing address so I know where to send your goodies to you. And tell me what kind of, snack you would like. Like what kind of goodies would you like? Send you a bulk supply of it. And that'll do it for that section, Not hard at all. And the reason why I'm doing that section is to tap in with my listening audience, like a listener participation type deal until I get a hotline going. I'm trying to make the transition into video from the audio format into the video format, trying to start doing YouTubes and, let you guys see my face and interact with you on that level. Not that I'm hiding, it's just like you gotta crawl before you walk, and that was just like more readily available. The audio platform just made more sense at the time when I started it to get me get a feel for this, how this social media stuff works. Then after that, I go on into a highlight section where I'm actually highlighting originally owned businesses by original people. And in that section, what I'm attempting to do is, same thing I'm doing with the articles that I just provided today, to provide positive frames of reference about original people and original culture, just showcasing that we are, a dutiful people, that we are entrepreneurs, that we are captains of industry, that we can and like to do for self. As opposed to the negative original people stereotype of us being lazy, of us being counterproductive, of us not wanting to pull ourselves up by our own bootstraps. To paraphrase the late Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King, how are you going to tell a bootless man to pull themselves up by their bootstraps when they don't have boots to begin with? So, yeah. And again, I was paraphrasing it. That wasn't the exact quote. Alrighty. So after that section, after the I'm still on it, I guess. In that section, the types of businesses that I like to highlight are, I got a certain criteria that I look for. The criteria is, of course, originally people owned and operated. And do they give back to the community? Do they do some type of philanthropy? Do they have their own nonprofit, or do they pay into a nonprofit and basically take care of the community that they are rooted in? Those are the people I like to, highlight and plug their business, people to give back. Then also, in addition to that, do they align with my theme? And my current theme is the season of summer. So all the businesses that I've been highlighting, you will kind of think of, their businesses kind of, fit the theme of the season of summer. And then also people that are not, experts per se, just regular people that wanted to do something and figured it out. So literally came out of the mud to do whatever it is they're doing. If they did go to college, they didn't necessarily, take that field of study, like their business that they started doesn't necessarily coincide with their field of study. Like their field of study might help them operate it more efficiently, but has nothing to do with their major. That's the type of businesses that I like to try to highlight, just to showcase, give you the positive frame of reference that you don't need a lot to start with. You just need an idea and faith and belief in yourself. And then a disclaimer sidebar: when I'm sharing these stories, I'm never for once implying, that it'd be just that easy because it worked for that person. We all different. We all have, our stumbling blocks, different strokes for different folks. Like, everybody got a different situation. I'm just, putting options on the table. Not saying just because that person overcame, meaning like you can overcome like they overcame. Like, you got to find your own way. We're all on a different path, but we're still branches from the same tree. If you dig what I'm saying. Alrighty, so that takes care of that section. And then my next section is the spotlight. And I think I had started the wave with the spotlight because before I started doing the spotlight on my platform, nobody online was doing spotlights. Nobody. Now everybody got a little section devoted to a spotlight, giving somebody their roses. Like, it's cool though. I'm not mad at all. Like, I like that we're taking time to acknowledge each other and, be happy for one another, celebrate each other's successes and what they bring to the table and what they can contribute to the culture. That's what that section is all about. So in that section, I like to, spotlight someone who uses their platform to speak on our plight, somebody that gives back to the community, somebody that, does some type of philanthropy, isn't afraid to, when a microphone's in front of them, they're not, timid about speaking on our issues and basically doing everything in their power to represent us in a positive light. So it's not about being perfect in that section. It's just about, doing the work and, standing on the truth. Okay, so after the spotlight section, I do a health and wellness tip. And in the health and wellness section, what I'm doing is just basically promoting the active, healthy, fit lifestyle. Because ever since this little invisible bug has plagued the world, we've been at the target of it. And we are a trauma-laden people. So which means they weaponize the media, again, hence the title, the narrative, to constantly bombard us with, negative news about our people and our culture. And what that does is weaken your immune system. And when your immune system becomes weakened, you will become privy to airborne pathogens, including that thing. So if you go to the hospital these days, they're not even going to go down the checklist. They're just going to say you got that thing. And then after they say that, no sooner than they say that out of their mouth, those symptoms will physically manifest in your body. And we don't want that. So that's why I'm providing, tips to keep, to promote an active, healthy, fit lifestyle. Tell you the benefits of a plant, veggie, fruit, veggie, plant, herb, roots, physical exercises, mental exercises that you can do to sustain yourself, to stay active, healthy, fit, and to increase your physical vitality as well as your mental wellness and well-being. So if that makes any sense, that's what I'm doing in that section. Then after the health and wellness section, I deliver commentary about, whatever on my mind. Sometimes I don't have a speaking point, just like whatever's on my mind, I'll talk about. Whatever is going on in the world as it pertains to us original people, like where are we at in that? I break it down from, the original people's perspective, what that means for us. And in that section, what I'm doing is controlling the narrative. Because sometimes when breaking news comes out, they'll have us looking and sounding crazy. So in my, current event section, my speaking point is that's what I'm doing. I'm attempting to control the narrative about us. And then my final section of the narrative podcast is just like a final thought section. And that's just usually a pearl of wisdom or something to make you think or promote critical thinking, just something to leave you with. Something thought-provoking to leave you with, just to think about for next time, just filing in your mental Rolodex. And we're definitely living in the area where you need to question any and all information that comes before you and not just take it as the gospel. Don't just take anything anybody tells you at face value. You got to do your own due diligence. You got to do the research. And that's, a huge thing wrong in our community. We sit up there and listen to these crackpot experts making us leading every time a disease or an illness comes out, we're the number one. Original men are the number one in, heart disease, cancer, diabetes. How are you the number one? One means one. You can't make us the number one in everything. One means one. We can't be the number one in everything, like everything bad. You can't just be sitting up here assigning diseases and illnesses to us. But anyway, I digress. So yeah, that's what I'm doing in that section, is to get you to think critically and just leave something on your mind. And then after that, I plug whatever I got going on, and bam, that's the end of the show. That's the narrative podcast experience in a nutshell. All right, so now that I've unpacked that, I do have some commentary that I would like to take a dive into, not a deep dive, but just really a kind of a congratulatory thing. Like I'm a steal somebody's little thing they do on their show. I got to, because it's a slow clap moment. So if Willie B's listening, I got to steal your thing, brother. I'm trying to come up with my own, but this fits so perfectly. I gotta do your slow clap, bruh. So recently, Styles P, 1/3 member of the Locks, intervened in a police arrest. So on TMZ, you can go to TMZ and see it. And basically, I think he called the arresting officer male officer a hoe because he had roughed up a female, slammed her on the concrete, like she's already handcuffed in front of him. And, he called him out on it, confronted him and called him out on it, and did not back down. So for that, sorry, Willie, I had to steal that from you because that was just a slow clap moment. We need more of that in our community. We need more of that in our community. I would like to also, I've already spotlighted, Styles P for that, or Styles P on the Narrative Podcast. He has been a spotlight of mine. I think like several months ago, I spotlighted him, like right around the time of the verses when they had the Dipset versus Locks verses. I spotlighted him for his, evolution and his open transition. Just basically being a man, knowing he needs to work on some things and working on it, his journey into, the plant-based lifestyle, his knowledge of how food is linked to behavior, and he is changing his behavior by changing his diet. So, he's good in that area. And then after the incident, I think he went on his own Instagram and put it in perspective. He basically said he could have handled it a different way, and there's always a different way, and he could have handled it a different way. And he doesn't want to see any law enforcement officers get fired, but then he also is opposed to, law enforcement officers handling poor people. He said poor people. He said poor original people. What he said was black people, but, I'm replacing that pronoun with black with original. So every time I say original on my platform, I mean black. So if anybody, just to clear up any miscommunication, when I say original, I mean black. But I believe in the power of words, so I'm trying to omit black out of my vocabulary. And hopefully, you will omit black out of your vocabulary. But anyway, so, he was basically taking responsibility for the role he feels he played in that situation. He understands, he's a hip hop artist and he has a polarizing effect. And, he's coming from this place of he doesn't want to send out, the wrong message. Young people looking at him, wanting them, to go out of their way to disrespect law enforcement. And I all the way get it. I get where the brother's coming from. Because that's one thing as an original man we need to start doing is, taking self-accountability, holding ourselves accountable, and being disciplined. And so he owned up to that, or he felt he owned up. And I'm saying he felt he owned up to it for, his side of it. But, that's where it stops, because I got to, respectfully agree to disagree with him on that one. He handled that perfectly. He handled that situation perfectly. There was no other option. There's a time and a place for everything, and then what was required in that situation was aggression. You could not peacefully talk to that filthy beast. And I'm not talking about all Caucasians are filthy beasts. I'm talking about law enforcement. that thinks they can just, wantonly abuse their power and accost the people that they was charged with serving and protecting. But especially when it comes to original people, they like doing that. And I think if he was not there on the spot, up in their face, it would have been another Sandra Bland. It would have been another Breonna Taylor type situation had he not been there, had he not intervened the way he intervened. And, I think he sent the message, we got to stop, stop being meek and humble and just pulling out them phones and not doing nothing. Like as men, that we are protectors. We have to protect our neighborhood. We got to press law enforcement the same way we oppress another original man for stepping on our shoes, taking our, or we feel like, taking our parking spot or taking a chair from us at an event. They in our chair and we want to press them over a chair. Like just all the stupid stuff we do to each other. But when these filthy beasts violate us, then all of a sudden we quiet as church mice. We ain't got no energy. We don't got nothing to say to them. So yeah, I don't believe that's inciting violence to talk to him the way he talked to him. He was a hoe. He wouldn't have did that had it have been a man. He wouldn't have had all that tough machismo. He wouldn't have had all that aggression had it have been a man. It was a sister, and I don't mean to speculate, but I believe she was, in the LGBTQ community. I believe from just looking at the video footage that she could quite possibly been dang, how do you even say it to be politically correct these days? A masculine lesbian, but because you can't say butch anymore, can you? But yeah, she was dressed very masculine. She had Jordans on. She was basically dressed like a dude. And he was handling her rough and roughing her up. You know what I'm saying? But just fate lended a hand, and that brother, Styles P was on site, and he was like, y'all need to fall the F back. What is you doing? That's a female. What's wrong with you? So, the officer, I don't know whether or not it has not been released, whether he had probable cause to detain her. I don't know what she did. It hasn't been released yet. I'm pretty sure as the story breaks and develops, because I think this is just breaking news. This just happened, so all the details aren't out yet. But I just want to deliver the commentary on that I believe, from my perspective, that he acted justly. There was no foul. There was no other way to handle that. But the way he handled it is to confront the police officer head on, look him dead in his eye, and in the video, he didn't pull his weapon. He didn't charge Styles P. He didn't pull his weapon because he knew he was wrong. Because he knew he was wrong when he slammed her. So that's what we got to do to start taking our neighborhoods back. We got to start checking these filthy beasts every time they get out of pocket. And then once we start getting confidence about checking these filthy beasts, then we can internalize and clean up house. Then we can work on our own problems. Then we can go check the drug dealers and the pimps and the thieves and all the other miscreants in our community to, hold that down to a small roar. Can't be out here beating up old people. Can't be out here raping babies. can't be out here messing with the babies like, grown men gang banging like 35 years old. You want to beat up a little 12-year-old or a 13-year-old for doing some finger gestures. But yeah, we need to basically like start pressing these filthy beasts every time they out of pocket. And like I said, not all Caucasians are filthy beasts. I'm talking about, these law enforcement officers that abuse their power. Because as we all know, law enforcement in this country was derived from slavery. So law enforcement in this country was derived from the slave patrol, and they have not changed their ethics since then. It was like back then, where's your papers at, boy? Modern day, license, registration, please. It's the same parallel, same toilet, different toilet, same old shit. And we got to change that. So I think, Styles P in that situation, he acted amicably, and we need more of our men to step up and start pressing these filthy beasts every time they out of pocket. Now, I don't mean getting disrespectful and talking all out the side of your neck for nothing, like especially if you know you're in the wrong. Like if you know you broke the law, whatever they stopping you for, you did, you got to eat that. You got to take self-accountability. Like, yeah, they got me. Go on, take the little ticket. Go on, take the little time if they got you. You know what I'm saying? Because if they get you, you can always, if you take your time, you can get out of it. You might have to sit for about 4 or 5 years before you get out of it, but you can get out of it if you keep your damn mouth shut. Most of the time, in most situations, if you just shut up, you can get out of it. But some people don't know how to shut up. They just talk themselves into the jail time, popping off to the police. Just shut up. But then there comes a time where you can't shut up. And that in situations like that, when you see them doing something foul, you got to check them. So we got to check the police like you would check another original man overstepping on your Nikes. You got to check the police like you would check another original man over your woman. You got to check the police like you would check another original man over your parking spot, over your seat, and all the other dumb shit we fight each other over. You got to have that same energy for them filthy beasts. And we'll be all right. Oh, yeah. So that's all I want to say, delivering commentary on that. I think he acted boldly. I think he acted nobly, in a noble manner. Excuse me, I'm just like, yeah. I think he did he acted correctly in that situation. So, I'm going to give him another round of applause. Hats off to Styles P. All right. And then before I get on up out of here for today, I just want to share some information that came across my radar. It is now grant season. If you did not know, I didn't know because it came across my radar. I follow a lot of financial gurus on YouTube, and it seemed like on every single page, people was talking about grants. So here's 2 people you can check out for grants, grant writing, how to get funded, get projects funded. King Hustle, and then Superior Credit LLC. And basically, what I learned from watching both of them is, go to sam.gov to see what grants are available. And then also to have a DUNS number ready. And a DUNS number, DUNS, it's an acronym. That's basically like an identifier for to receive the grants. It used to formerly be called a UEI. Well, let's first break down what does DUNS mean. Shoot, just had it. Okay, so DUN stands for Data Universal Numbering System, and it's basically like a unique 9-digit identification number provided by the Dun and Bradstreet Corporation, or DNB, and it's just an identifier that you need to get the grants available to you, to see what grants you qualify for. And they never expire. So once you get assigned one, it's yours for life. And you just basically have to do your own due diligence to see what grants you qualify for. And there's all kind of information out there. And I just gave you like 2, YouTubers that specialize in that. They're really good at covering all their bases. They also got videos about grant writing, and it will really behoove you to know how to grant write at some point, because grant writing is a potential passive stream of income. After you know how to write a grant, you can charge, whatever you want to for people that seeking your services to, write a grant. You can charge them whatever. But so if you don't know how to write a grant, there's all kinds of grant writers out there. You can pay somebody to write a grant and they'll write it for you. And there's also even services that track the grant, like how much money, when is it going to come to you, can set you up with text message alerts and all that. But you guys just do your own due diligence. That's just something I want to share with you. It's free money. So don't let all these super woke people, these insomniacs, be like, don't take the white man's money. Man, that's free money, bruh. It's grant money. It's in your state. It's just sitting there as an original person. That's your money anyway. This is the money that they didn't give us, because everything in it, on it, and around it belongs to us anyway. So if it's free money out there to start a business, to pull yourself up by the bootstraps, then get it. Get all of it. Get everything you're eligible for. Don't let nobody get in your ear talking that, taking a handout from a white man. A grant is not a handout. It's free money. And it's for to start your business. And yeah, there are some grants out there for cost of living expenses too. So, sam.gov is one source. Then another source is your state's Treasury Department to see what grants are available. So that's all I want to do. I want to pass along that knowledge that's all I had really kind of had planned for today, those articles and delivering my commentary. So I'm going to put a pin in it here. Thank you for listening. Join me this weekend for a full episode of the Narrative Podcast. Tune in regularly for my lives, because I don't ever know what day or what time I'm going to go live. So, tune in. I might have a gem for you, like I had a gem today about the grants. Download this episode of the Narrative Podcast. This is being broadcast live, but when I share it back on all platforms, please download it. Or like if, you're listening to me live right now, just, hit the download button when I'm done, when I'm signing off, hit the download button, because I got a whole lot of projects that I got coming up. So, that'll expedite the process, getting funded through this medium, algorithm and all that. So hit the download button. Also, I write poetry. I got a personal poetry blog called Halsey's Poetry Corner. It's on blogger.com, powered by Adam. The address is www.mrhalseysblogs.com. I pretty much post brand new poems every single day. By this evening, I have a brand new poem. I've been doing a good job all last week and week before, doing it every single day. On the days when I don't post, I'm an artist. Sometimes I get my inspiration like at 1:45. So like if it's like today's Wednesday, right? If I started, writing a poem at like 11, like 1:45 midnight, and then finish it at midnight, it's no longer Wednesday, it's Thursday. So in that case scenario, I just wouldn't post at all. But all my poems are off the cuff. I don't premeditate. Some of them do contain quite a bit of grammatical errors, double words and all that. But again, like, it's off the cuff. I'm just writing it as the idea is coming to me. There are inspirational. They're very good. I think you can get something out of it and apply it to your life into some small capacity. The tagline for my personal blog, is Halsey's Poetry Corner, poetry with a passion, poetry for all occasions. Also, I got a book coming up of poetry. I've just written one. I'm in the process of turning it into an ebook. So I'm awaiting my physical copy, because I put in the order on the 4th of July. They said 6 to 7 days delivery. I still haven't got my physical copy. I've already paid for it. So once I get my physical copy, I'll convert the physical copy into an ebook. Why am I waiting on the physical copy? Because the platform that I wrote the book on, it was just a hobbyist site, and they recently added, a publishing feature where they basically, convert your poems into an actual book, into a physical book. And they're in the process of adding more features. Like they just recently added an illustration feature. And I'm sure probably by their final evolution, they'll add, editing and marketing and all that. But for right now, they just provide, the physical copy of the work. So once I get my physical copy of the book, I will go to another platform and, turn it into an ebook. And when the ebook's ready, I share the information, the link where you can go get the book. I already have another 50-pager manuscript on deck. So I'm just, waiting for this process to see, how it's doing. And then ultimately try to learn the game to just publish my own book. I'm going through publishing companies right now, because I've never published a book before. So I'm learning as I go. Got to crawl before you walk. Got to start somewhere, right? So that's all I got today. Thanks for listening to me, family. Join me again this weekend for another full episode of the Narrative Podcast. And the tagline again is the Narrative Podcast, changing the narrative one episode at a time by destroying negative original people stereotypes. It was formerly changing black stereotypes, but I've replaced, I swapped out black for original. So every time I say original on this platform, I'm referring to black. I'm just trying to omit the word black out of my vocabulary and urging you to omit black out of your vocabulary. Because, the power of words. Black symbolizes death. And we are not a dead people. We're very much alive. That's just something they assigned to us and told us we was black. So that'll do it for this episode of the Narrative Podcast. Join me next week for a full edition of the Narrative Podcast. Go support my poems. Download this episode and all previously recorded episodes of the Narrative Podcast. And catch you next time. Halsey Allen, the Narrative Podcast, signing off. Thank you very much. You have a great rest of your day and great rest of your week.
Set your place on fire. Put a little bit of shit, put a little bit of shit, put a little bit of gasoline. Put a little bit of shit,
Listening to the Narrative Podcast with Halsey Allen. The Narrative Podcast is changing the narrative one episode at a time.